a viral video. You're in for it.
Well, it also started because Spencer was talking about how a marlin attacked his friend.
Yeah. Retaliated, not attacked.
Oh, man. Did we already put up the arrows that tell people who we are? I don't know. There it is. I'm Dominique. That's Pablo. We have a new guest, Spencer Hall. He is awesome because, unlike Pablo, Spencer is both very knowledgeable and very intelligent, which are two different things.
Okay.
There's two different things.
That's quite a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Pablo is very intelligent.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's
so
true.
far, so good.
But the knowledge, like, whew, I don't know. I feel like we've taught you a lot of things just in the run-up to this show. We have taught you many things.
Can we see what we want to start the show with so I can test my knowledge, please? Alabaster, what do you got for us?
We're beginning today with breaking news.
We got
I have a
horns?
couple tweets to read you guys. The first one from Woj.
Yeah.
Sixers coach Doc Rivers threw Ben Simmons out of practice today, and the suspension came shortly thereafter. Second tweet from Woj. Simmons' reluctance to physically and mentally engage with the 76ers since his return has been a consistent theme, sources tell ESPN. And the third is a statement from Pablo's beloved 76ers. Pablo's beloved Ben Simmons has been suspended for one game due to conduct detrimental to the team. As a result, Pablo's beloved Ben Simmons will miss his beloved 76ers season opener at New Orleans tomorrow night. Your thoughts?
Okay, so knowledge-wise, let me just say this. I'm not surprised that the universe does this to me. I'm not surprised that the universe makes me hang out with two of my friends who are all too eager to make fun of me on a day when news comes out that makes it even easier to make fun of me. I understand all of this. I will say this on the actual knowledge part of it. We have an episode of ESPN Daily today with Ramona Shelburne about the backstory to all of this. That is an interesting psychological of dive into Ben Simmons. So listen to that for real content as Dominique is undressing and turning his shirt into one of those magic eye things that is making me see flying fish, I think, actually, at this point. Also, why does your shirt have the sound of static? Looking like static is one thing. Sounding like static is another.
That's a good one. I like it. You're funny. Anyway, don't we have video? Some video that'll make you
so
cry?
let's get to the actual. Let's get to the jokes. Fine. Let's get to the jokes. So this was yesterday, and you may notice a couple things.
What's happening?
Yeah, no, he's doing stuff.
He's doing stuff.
That's an athlete.
Does he have on a practice jersey?
So he's practicing. This is honestly like positive. That's
Need a new verb.
Yeah.
He is attending practice.
Oh, we're loitering. This is just loitering.
That's proper verb right there. Loitering.
That's against the law. They will ticket you for that.
The hand is not going into the center. Didn't even put it up there.
He's literally standing under the exit.
Oh, what do you think they broke it down on? I mean, I don't think they said Sixers. I feel like they had to say something specific to Ben. I don't know, like a family. I don't know, something that made it clear that there's a us and you're there.
They went 1, 2, 3. Conduct not detrimental to the team. And he was like, you know what, guys? I'm gonna come back tomorrow and I'm gonna show you what that really is about.
Hi, guys. This is Pablo. What week is it? It's week 1. Week 1 of this. Week 1.
It's week 0.
Week
it's
0.
about to be week 1. It's about to be week 1. That's the worst part.
And he's already been kicked out of a practice.
And fined and suspended for the first game. Like, oh goodness.
Yeah. So apparently, like what I'm learning via Twitter, because I'm learning all of this as I sit here with you guys, you two nightmares. The idea is that Doc Rivers and Ben Simmons got into it at practice. Doc Rivers and Ben Simmons, by the way, who don't like each other. I don't know if you guys noticed this, as Doc Rivers at one point compared all of the people in Ben's camp to Trump supporters who don't believe the election actually resolved itself, which was not maybe the best sign for how this would resolve in the future. But the point is, that Ben Simmons has been kicked out of practice. Doc Rivers is officially, yes, playing the role of bad cop. And I can only imagine Daryl Morey, who's like trying to make this all work, just like smashing his face into a basket stanchion, being like, I just need you guys to not do this. And then, of course, they do this.
You know who's who like has real sympathy here, by the way, for Ben Simmons is 76ers fans, because they too refuse to mentally or physically engage with this team, given some of the things that have happened to them.
I just want to know who the good cop is. If Doc is the bad cop, who's the good cop? Pablo?
I think it's me. I think it's me.
No.
I think it is. I am the good cop at this point. Can I just point out, like, there is something amazing, though, in the question that we should be contemplating here, which is how do you actually get yourself traded when these are the hands and this is the card that you've been dealt, right? Like, they don't want to trade you. They need you to be there. You need to be there to get paid. And so how do you get out of there? It turns out you accidentally yesterday start a controversy because you had what looked like a cell phone in your sweatpant pocket. Mm-hmm. It was actually like a rolled up practice jersey, but nonetheless, the memes flowed from there. And so now I'm wondering, like, how would you guys have actually tried to get kicked out of practice if you were Ben Simmons at practice today, getting kicked out of practice?
I mean, is your goal to get kicked out of practice or your goal to get traded? Like, I think there's two different things. Getting kicked out of practice is getting kicked out of practice. Getting kicked out of practice is yelling at the coach. Getting traded, right hook. That'll get you out of town quick. Just is no talking, just swinging.
Yeah, I would make whatever you were doing, I would make it a work, because remember, Ben Simmons doesn't like shoots, doesn't like to shoot. I have all the jokes on this. He should go full. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Wow.
That is conduct detrimental. So, what is worse for the team, Pablo? That's what I want to know. Is it worse for him to play or worse for him to get sidelined? And it's like mostly facetious question, but also we accept that they don't play well together.
The real thing the Sixers should be wanting out of all of this, which is why I am concerned about Doc Rivers perhaps doing something he didn't have to do. And I say have to because I wonder, like, was he forced to do this, or was his job just being like, no, bleep this, I'm the coach, I can't let this happen, which I understand from a human level, but from an organizational strategy perspective, all they want to do is convince people that they may plausibly play Ben Simmons this season, and it'll be fine.
That's nobody dumb enough to believe that. Nobody believes that. There's nothing they could have done to convince anybody. Like, we're not in the basketball world.
Here we are.
Okay.
Here we are with Ben Simmons, Spencer, going Bartleby the Scrivener. I'd rather not. I prefer not to. Just over and over again.
No, this is full Peter in Office Space. Go ahead, camp out on the bench, get concessions delivered to you, right? Just be the opposite of that Westbrook gif where he's, sneaking chicken fingers like over on the side. No, eat them out in the open, right? Let them drip down the front of the jersey. Go ahead, take calls, take 2 calls, get like a 1997 flip phone, or maybe one of the 80s ones with the battery pack that goes down, and use it on the sideline, okay? Go ahead. Yeah, high five friends who are behind you, right? Make live bets.
Only on away games, though. Only high five the away fans. Don't high five the home fans.
No, they're not having it. I was going to ask a question. How much would you have to be cut in on to be the teammate who agrees to take the punch that you throw in order to get traded?
Nice.
Right?
I mean, he has a max contract. I feel like you can get paid in crypto. Nobody even has to know that you accepted this. Oh no, like I think you can get 7 figures off of that, honestly.
7? 7? What about you, Fox?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I mean, because think about all the fines and the missed suspension money and all the games that you would not have to now do this whole circus about not playing. I think it would actually save you money to pay someone $1 million to let you punch them in the face.
Would you actually let Ben Simmons punch you in the face, though, Pablo? That's the real question. Is it worth $1 million to let Ben Simmons, who I believe is 6'10", professional athlete, haul off and lean in with all of the anger of Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers to let it loose on your delicate little cheekbones?
First off, these cheekbones are very sharp, and
pray
for the soul that tries to punch them without getting cut upon them at the same time. Second of all, I think, Spencer, look, you get a terms of service, right? Like, you don't why are you, no, it's $1 million in order to work out a Jackie Chan level theatrical execution.
That's what you think. That's what you think. Hold on, Pablo, if you pay someone $1 million to take a punch, you're going to get your money's worth. I'm hot that I had to pay you 2 commas to get, I'm leaning in. I'm leaning in and breaking something. Something's going to get broken. Maybe my finger, maybe your nose, maybe an orbital bone. I don't know. Something's getting broken.
Although, there is the distinct possibility that Ben just doesn't have it. Like maybe you're making a real deal here because maybe he can't. I mean, seriously, you just don't know. Yeah, he's a professional athlete. I've seen professional athletes who can't fight. I've seen complete slobs at bars who have hands. Who knows? For $1 million, I'm gonna try it. Easy.
Man.
Easy.
I like how the discourse around Ben Simmons has gotten around to the point where we're now blaming Ben Simmons for not being hypothetically tough enough to actually punch someone in a situation where he was paying someone else to get punched.
It's possible, all right? It's also possible, by the way, that he decides to alter the terms of the deal, Darth Vader style, and roundhouse kicks me in the head at 6'10" and ends my life. But you know what? I put $1 million on it, all right? I put $1 million on it. And that's the deal. I'm fine. Buy that ticket, take that ride.
You have to put in an escrow. Like, how do you work this deal out? I want to get into the specifics of this. Like, do you have someone in the locker room that you both trust just hold the cash? Because I'm not getting taxed on this. Let's be clear.
No,
I want this
dark web
tax-free
stuff. No, Dominic, this is all on the dark web. We're doing this in crypto. There is no paper trail. There is no fiat currency involved here. To be clear. It does remind me, though, that it feels like Spencer would be a very enthusiastic participant in Squid Game, which is a show I've watched 1 episode of. And it feels like this is kind of the plot of that now that I think about it.
I just finished the last episode of the show, and this is not the plot of it. It's very different from this. Getting punched in the face one time is not the same.
Nope, that's it.
A series of games where, I mean, theoretically, everyone is supposed to die, but one person is a little different.
Spoiler alert.
That's not a spoiler. If you watch one episode, you already know that, Pablo.
I was
kind of in and out on it, to be honest. Go ahead, Spencer.
I can make an argument, by the way, that you should do this as a scrub, all right? Because I'm going to put it this way, in 1,000 lives, given my genetics, the max on me is scrub. I'm going to get up to scrub on the bench, okay? And if I get there, I need to make my resume as diverse as possible, correct? I need to make sure I have every tool and every role. So hence, I'm going to learn to fight, right? Because you need that guy on your team. I'm going to be the guy who will take a hard foul because, I'm worthless. Go ahead, knock me out of the game. That's fine, right? I'm going to be the guy who knows how to lose at cards gracefully because I think every locker room needs one of those, right? Knows when to walk away and when to run. I'm going to be that guy. Now, I think this adds a line to your resume because if you have a troublesome player who's going to punch somebody because they're going to get traded, I am valuable both to the player as somebody to bring along in any deal, and I'm valuable to the team in case you need me. Yet another line of value.
Is that you, Pablo? Is that you?
No, I don't. I'm not here to talk about the past, guys.
Are you? I mean, how do you feel about the season? I mean, have you?
I feel that way. I feel like this. Is this the corner? Yeah, I feel like this. This is how I feel. I feel like I just need to wait for everything to resolve because the more I actively engage with the news, the worse the news gets. It's been a losing strategy so far. It actually, what I'm realizing now is that if you're Ben Simmons, right, not only would I pay $1 million to let someone punch me in the face to get traded, I pay that person, honestly, I'm doing some PR budget math, I pay them $10 million for them to provoke me and turn me into a hero because I punched him. Like, I don't know what I would need that guy to do to make him villainous.
You're spending a lot of Ben Simmons money. Before we move on, because I think we've gotten all the jokes out of making fun of you that we can, I'm wondering how much would you, right now, the person that you are, pay to have the 76ers? No. To have the 76ers win the championship this year with Ben Simmons. How much would you pay out of your pocket?
With Ben Simmons.
Or without Ben Simmons? I guess,
No.
How would you feel? I mean, what would you feel best about? Because, like, you are Mr. Process, and you are taking all the heat for how the process has gone so poorly. How much would you pay to turn the tables? And while you think about it, Alabaster has something to say.
Yeah, I have a quick quote to interject before you answer. But Joel Embiid on Ben Simmons said today, "It's not my job to babysit him."
Sorry, that changes the math on this. Like, I don't, God. So okay, this is the reality of the math. I'll say this much for the Joel Embiid news update that we got that affects the calculation of being asked to do by Dominique. I now do not want the Sixers. This is the way I'm leaning. I would pay $0 for them to win the title without Ben Simmons. Wow. I'm dug in, man. So I am dug in.
So how much would you pay for them to win with Ben? I'm asking. I guess I want to know. So what is in your mind? What brings you bragging rights again? No longer makes you the shame of this show and the shame of anyone who has NBA opinions, because that's where you are right now. You are the shame of all of that. What's the outcome that makes you the pride of NBA circles?
So this is what I would pay this. I would pay $50,000.
Okay. Wow. Big money.
If Ben Simmons were traded to the Golden State Warriors and they defeated the Philadelphia 76ers on a Ben Simmons three-pointer in the NBA Finals.
Game 7. Got to be Game 7.
Game 7.
Yeah, call it.
Shot clock expiring.
Oh, my gosh.
Game on the line. $50,000.
I don't care about this whole saga, but I would pay for that too, just because it'd be so much fun. Oh, my goodness. We can
split this 3 ways.
Okay, so
you do a GoFundMe on this.
Okay, the problem is I don't think that's enough to get an NBA game thrown. We need to talk to Tim Donaghy about that. We need to get multiple games thrown. It's not allegedly. What do you mean allegedly? Tim Donaghy is not the guy you go to? That's not allegedly. Alabaster, do we need allegedly for that? No, the man got kicked out because he was throwing games.
When his full title is disgraced NBA referee Tim Donaghy.
I think I'm safe. All right, what's next, Allie?
Alabaster, please free me from this tainted orb. Yes.
All right, guys, it is time for some trending topics. And our first trending topic: what was the story of last night's game? The Bills' decision to go for it, or Derrick Henry, Tractorcito, in his dominance?
Tractorcito!
Clear out.
Can I hum this song without being sued for it?
Clear out. Let Spencer go, because he is obviously hot on this topic.
Yeah, no, that's the story. Like, I was going to ask you, Fox, when they were going for 2, I think everyone was thinking, this is an analytics decision. This is some sort of nerd crap that's ruining my football. No one wants overtime, and no one wants to see more of Derrick Henry. Nobody.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I think what was the question? Say more about blah, 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 whatever.
Which was the story? What's the story
the
here?
Story,
is it going for it or Tractorcito?
Yeah, I mean, I think going for it at this point, the psychology of this and the decision making of this has changed. People expect you to go for it in that situation. Obviously, you want to gain less than a yard rather than kick a field goal and then rely on a coin toss. Then you miss the coin toss, and then you got to tackle Derrick Henry again. So, yeah, I think that the story of this game is certainly Derrick Henry, how he is doing things that haven't been done in 60 years of football. All the things that we say about running backs, you don't need them. You can interchange them. It doesn't matter. Those things don't seem to apply to Derrick Henry. There are some special people out there, and if you got them, you should hand them the ball.
No one wanted
Derrick Henry. I mean, this is a stat that people should be aware of. And it's not even the stat that it's, 587 yards after contact, leading the NFL and perhaps the universe in that particular category. It's the stat that he ran 21.8 miles an hour on that run that was the run that inspired really the topic here. Yes, the 76-yard touchdown run, 21.8. That is faster than anybody in the NFL this season. I don't know if this is just a thing we're just all numb to now, but that seems like it really is unfair. Like in video games, there's the concept of nerfing something. Like this player needs to be adjusted, this power needs to be eliminated, this game needs to be reprogrammed because you should not be able to be 250, are we saying? 6'3", 250, be the fastest player in the NFL.
Depends on what he had for lunch, but yeah, around 250. On that 76-yard TD drive, I want to point out something that, again, I think only builds my case that they didn't want overtime, especially because they didn't want to see Derrick Henry again. And it's this, that on that 76-yard TD drive, great blocking, plays moving this way, he cuts this way, there's a beautiful hole, and what he does is he hits. It's either a linebacker or a defensive end. He hits one of them coming through that hole. 9 out of 10 other running backs bounce, fall, trip. He just looks like a semi rolling through there.
Yeah.
Just cleared it.
I didn't know that anyone touched him, honestly. Like, I've seen the play 30 times now by this day, and I still, because he didn't move. I didn't know that he was touched by anyone, let alone a defensive end or linebacker. He's an impressive guy. Do we have, like, I know we do basketball gravity stats. I would like us to figure out a way to do play action gravity stats, because I believe that on the fake to Derrick Henry, the gravity of the defense is stronger on Derrick Henry than any other player in the league. And I know I'm up on football analytics. You don't need to run the ball well in order to have effective play action, but something's different when Derrick Henry's out there, because those linebackers, you know what they're thinking? I'm not ready to meet the Lord yet. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go fill this. I'm gonna go fill this gap before Derrick Henry get a good head of steam going, and then Derrick Henry don't want to see me though. I'd take care of business on Derrick Henry. Find a missed tackle. I don't got one in my whole career. You trying to clown me? I mean, it does look great.
Dominique butt.
Great buns.
This happens to every athlete. Everybody's got a picture of them getting beat in the NFL. It happens.
I didn't get beat right there. What happened?
No?
Well,
no.
What is that, Dominique, if not a beating or having been beaten?
So what happened there?
What happened was somebody else got beat. I turned around and slipped, and this is just before I stood up and ran him down and punched the ball out. That's what happened.
I have no way of proving you wrong.
Exactly.
I mean, I believe it, but I totally believe that's what happened.
There were no cameras at that game.
Exactly, allegedly.
I know this is a good hillbilly fight story, by the way, because you said, well, what happened was, that's how, like, all great stories happen, right? Like, why did the cops show up? Well, you see, what happened was.
Can you have black hillbillies? I've never considered this before. Has
anyone? Is it the same term?
I don't know.
I think we use blanket country. Right? You just country, right? Like, I think we might say that. Yeah, but you can be I think hillbilly, sure. I'm sure they're all right.
I've just never seen a black hillbilly, or never seen someone.
America. You can be
whenever I hear the word hillbilly, what I conjure up in my mind is a specific type of person, and it looks vaguely like today's special guest, the banjo playing bearded Spencer Hall. So I don't know. I just was wondering. I mean, it's 2021. I guess you can be whatever you want.
You mean with like a cartoon jug of like shine that has XXX across the front? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Spencer's
3 X's
wearing
on
a
it.
T-shirt, but he's basically wearing overalls at the same time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how he's pulling it off, but it really does feel that way.
Lots of hairy nips, like that's what's happening. You got just chest hair, no T-shirt. You got to have overalls. What else do hillbillies have? Hillbillies, I feel like they're no shoes.
Stereotype? Sorry, I didn't realize.
Yeah, that's new to me, but I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna go with it.
No shoes, a big jug with 3 X's on it, and a big beard. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, leaning back and going, "What happened was."
well, speaking of what happened was, like something that is fun.
One time I was out fishing with my buddies, and a marlin jumped right in the boat.
I said that in pre-show, by the way. He's not making that up. This is straight from pre-show.
A marlin drove a boat. That happened in the pre-show. Can we explain, by the way, speaking of physically improbable things, like how do you explain if you are this guy, the what had happened was aspect of it?
Oh, yes.
Because this is Derrick Henry at Alabama, and that is someone from Michigan State who was looking like Derrick Henry like fired him off his body like a Gundam arm.
Also, Derrick Henry doesn't have an arm either in that picture. Like, I don't know. I cannot explain that picture at all. Yeah, I don't know. Spencer knows everything there is to know about college football. How did that happen?
That happened because the 2 times that Alabama have faced Michigan State, gentlemen, came in a year when Alabama mysteriously lost more than 1 game and came into said bowl game with vengeance on its mind and ire in its blood. All right, I did, and the second time was in the playoff, and on both occasions they lost by a combined average of 40 points. 40. It's not like they just caught average Alabama. They caught mad Alabama. And in that case, that is a stiff arm. That's a stiff arm, by the way, whose arc and aftermath was so complete and thorough that, yes, Dominique, the arm went off, went into the stands, floated away, and it didn't matter. Henry just completed it without it.
He just launches stiff arms and then regrows limbs. Just
Yeah. By the way, one fascinating thing about Derrick Henry is this, okay? Immune to college workload, because remember when Lane Kiffin was his offensive coordinator, all he did was run Derrick Henry. That's it. He had more carries than any running back in like recent memory in college, because that's kind of an extinct thing now, is to actually give 30 or 40 carries to your running back consistently. They did that all the time at Alabama, and the argument coming into the draft was, I mean, man, he's already fatigued, like that career's going to be short, and that's why people are wrong all the time.
Well, Spencer, wasn't Derrick Henry also like running the ball 35, 40 times a game in high school too, at like 9 yards a carry? Like at some point last night, someone reposted like his high school stats, and it suggests that yes, Derrick Henry does run like Derrick Henry has made a deep fake of Derrick Henry running. Like visually, none of it makes sense. Statistically, also, none of it really makes sense.
That'll set the record. If he actually keeps this pace, I think the record is 2,100. And Derrick Henry is on pace to break the record. Granted, they have an extra game, but either way, pretty impressive nonetheless. I think, can you go back to one other card before we move on? The card of the leading rushers that you put up, the PFF tweet. You still got that one, or did you burn that, Alabaster?
Stand by.
He's scrambling right now. I put him in a tough spot. A lot of pressure. I bet he's nervous. He's sweating.
Champion.
Look at that.
Champion.
Wow.
Nice job. So that is not on. We didn't give that enough love. So Derrick Henry is the NFL's leading rusher. The second leading rusher is Derrick Henry after contact. So Derrick Henry after contact has more yards than any other running back in the NFL.
Also, and so polite, such manners. If you saw, he called Lisa Salters Miss Lisa after the game.
I don't think that the defenders would agree with you. I don't think that they think he's very polite. He's a ruthless, mean man. Anybody else? We done with Derrick Henry?
Okay.
What we got?
What?
Allow me to read you Derrick Henry's high school stats.
No.
Please.
1,397 carries, 12,124 rushing yards, 8.7 yards per carry, 252 yards per game, and 153 rushing touchdowns.
200 yards a game. So, how many manslaughters does he have on there? Because them kids, somebody didn't make it. Like there's a couple kids whose futures were cut short because they let their coach talk some courage into them. Like, man, be tough. You just gotta hit them in the jaw. Everybody bleeds. No, they don't.
Just go out.
Not a person.
You just go out there and you wrap him up on the ankles. Just get him at the ankles. That'll do it. You know, he's big, but he's a tree. You can chop him down. Yeah, I guarantee you. Someone heard that, and someone found out, and someone messed around and found out fast.
Mess around and find out. We're on the internet, so we can actually say that, right, Pablo? What is the real words behind mess around and find out? You don't know? Never mind. Next topic.
We're not doing the Black Hillbilly thing anymore. Next topic. What do we got?
Next trending topic. What do you expect from the Lakers' big three to start the season?
Can I just say that I like that LeBron James still cares about basketball? Like the whole thing about him being, I'm the washed king, hashtag washed king. LeBron's company just got valuated at $750 million. That's not the basketball company. That's the media company. LeBron James, by all rights, doesn't have to care about any of this. But the fact is that he likes to feed into the television programs that populate our universe. And so thank you for being a guy who assembles a team like this that is full of memes and intrigue, I suppose. So what do we expect? I expect that we'll be talking about this all the time. I expect him to be the NBA final favorite coming out of the West. And I expect all of this to hinge on the same question it always hinges on, which is LeBron James healthy? Is Anthony Davis healthy? And then everything else from there gets talked about for way too long.
Yeah, I don't expect much from them. I expect this to be the Russell Westbrook show. Like, this is why you're here, Russell, to get us to the playoffs healthy. So, like, these 82 games, Russell, get your numbers up, dog. Like, this is what we need you for, because come playoff time, I don't think that Russell is going to be the guy that they're going to be relying on. So he's going to get him there. And then after that, we'll see what happens. LeBron's going to give us the first night, maybe since more people are watching, he's going to show out. Is he on a Christmas Day game? Probably. He's going to give us something on occasional prime times. He's going to give us something special. Same with AD. But they got their eyes on the playoffs, and that's all that matters.
I love the Wash King hashtag. By the way, Pablo, we do have a theme for today, and that goes back to Ben Simmons, which is this: only nerds care about the money. Only nerds care about the money. You're like, that's LeBron. LeBron's like, nerds. Like, you're like, hey, your media company's worth $750 million. LeBron's like, shut up, nerd. I'm going to play some hoops.
That's right.
I'm going to ball.
That's right.
Also, he's going to keep the $750 million company, but he's still going to call you a nerd. I love the fact that this team is going to master what LeBron has already sort of made an art form, which is couching it until the playoffs, baby. Just get there. Let's go ahead, put the IRL 2K player in Westbrook, right? Because I know you do what I do, which is that if you're a little bit short of that triple-double, you'll make sure you get it, right? Going into the fourth quarter.
The only way to live.
Yes.
It's the only way to live.
Mm-hmm.
What
Do you guys remember there was a triple double? I think this is the greatest ever triple double attempt. I believe it was Ricky Davis.
Yeah, he just threw it off
Ricky
the backboard.
Davis was short of one rebound as the game was ending, and he threw it off of the rim. But here's the catch: it was the wrong rim also. So it was just the most offensive way to possibly stat chase. It was like there's no plausible explanation that this might have been organically arrived at. It was actually just the most naked form of stat chasing. Russell Westbrook has more or less been doing that, except he used like the Oklahoma City stat keepers, who just was like, oh wait, nah, hockey passes those count as assists now. Yeah, that's a basketball assist. Doesn't matter.
Smells like
Russell Westbrook.
Smells like hater to me. The man is fun to watch. Let's focus on him being fun to watch and not complain about the little hiccups here or there. When Russell has the ball and he is playing, are you locked in or are you on your phone?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There you go. So
I am locked
celebrate
in to
him.
see if he gets one of those. Remember that time he got a dent in his face?
Oh,
and people were like,
I forgot
that's
about
not
that.
a thing that happens to the human skull. Speaking of sharp cheekbones, he had a dent in his face. And everyone was like, I guess that's Russell Westbrook. And nobody followed up with further medical examination that explained it.
Go ahead, Spencer.
Do you love your job enough to get a dent in your face?
Nope.
Russell Westbrook does.
Nope, I do not. I do not love anything short of the people who live in my house that much. And the family that doesn't live in the house, sorry, I can't dent my face for you. I love you, but no face dents.
Can we go back to that 5 out of 12, the oldest players in the NBA are Lakers? Because there's a whole story here. Oh, we got some copper fit bracelets. We got some Rockport shoes. We got everybody grabbing their back coming out of practice.
We got them talking with a cigarette in their mouth but never taking it out. They're just bouncing up and down like this. Hey girl, baby girl. We got a lot of baby girls. There's a lot of baby girls.
We have at least 8 AOL accounts.
Somebody's gonna be walking up to every car in that lot going, you know what's wrong with that? I can hear it. That's the timing belt. That's a timing belt.
Oh man. So LeBron has some company with his hair situation. Well, actually, no, the guys that he brought in, they all got good, respectable heads of hair. LeBron's the only one that's out here giving us a little juke on the hairline.
Well, he can't have competition, right? That's the thing. He's like, I have to be the most elite balding guy here.
Oh, is that his hair?
It does feel like LeBron is moving towards some sort of like hair sort of sponsorship deal. It is unclear as to why he has not monetized this or dealt with it in a way that prevents these jokes, because it is disturbing that if you look closely, like the top of his head looks like Dominique's shirt. It's very weird.
Do you remember that time when he like pushed it back with his headband and Anthony Davis? Like, this is similar to the Russell Westbrook dent in his face. You don't remember that? He like pushed it and it crinkled up like a rug.
Sort of
Anthony
moved
Davis
a little bit. Yeah.
Anthony Davis started pointing and he was like, I'm not making this up. I'll find it and send it to you, Pablo. It feels like you don't believe me. You don't remember this happening?
I'm here to slander LeBron's hairline. I allegedly
I'm not
here to slander.
I feel bad that NBA players can't do what everyone else does, which is just play with a ball cap on. Just play with the ball cap. Like you should be able to play with the backwards. Just put it on backwards, like everyone else in America does.
Oh,
but the idea of playing with that many older guys, it does. I mean, objectively, right? Like, it's funny. It's objectively funny that at some point someone is going to be like, so I've entered the part of my life where I'm really into horoscopes now. How about you guys? And they all sort of bond over that. Anyone else having that happen to them in their mid-30s?
No, no. Are you into like the Costa reports?
I'm just saying. I don't have official like go-to sources on this. I just know that when people describe astrology to me, I'm like, the moon is pretty powerful.
I'm not in my mid-30s. That must be the problem.
It controls the tides. Like, why can't the liquids in our bodies also be affected by the gravitational pull of the moon? Like, I feel like that happens in your mid to late 30s.
I feel like this reeks of desperation. Somebody in your life is desperate, and maybe you are too if you're starting to buy into this. Like, I feel like that's what, unless you were raised that way, for it to be like a new thing that that's a fair point. It's a good idea that we need to move on. But it feels like, you know what? The reason why things haven't gone the way I wanted them to is because the moon was acting up.
Pablo, container gardening. Container gardening is your friend. Let's get into that.
My horoscope did say I'd have friends who were unsupportive today. So next topic.
Oh, gosh.
It was right.
Okay, our next trending topic. Without Kyrie Irving, do you view the Nets as being better than the Bucks?
I do. I feel bad for the Bucks. You know, like, what else do they need to do? They won a title. Drew Holiday became one of the 10 best defensive players in the NBA. He's like suddenly the third guy in a big three. Literally nobody thought that before the postseason. Chris Middleton is clearly good enough to be the second best player on a championship team. And meanwhile, while all of that is happening, the Brooklyn Nets are the most embarrassing story in the NBA this side of the Philadelphia 76ers. And they lose one of their three best players, the best ball handler of all time. And it doesn't really matter because I'm still like, yeah, give me the team with Kevin Durant and James Harden on it. I am sorry that you went through all that trouble of winning a title only to basically arrive at the same place as if you didn't.
I just want to know which side of the 76ers you're putting them on. So are they on the more embarrassing or less embarrassing side? Because they are squarely on the less embarrassing side to me.
So quick tweet update. Shams Charania has tweeted, quote, sources, Doc Rivers asked Ben Simmons to join a defensive drill today. Simmons refused. Rivers asked again. Simmons said no again. Rivers then told Simmons he should go home, and Simmons dropped the ball and left. So I'm going to go with the Nets being less embarrassing.
Okay. Just making sure. I thought you were trying to bend the truth a little bit. So, like, the Nets, their only embarrassing thing is Kyrie seeming to search for something that is not there and aimlessly giving these Instagram live explanations that don't have one explanation in them. It's confusing and upsetting for him, who seems like a generally good dude who's misguided. But they got two really, really talented basketball players that could quite possibly be two of the top five in the NBA. When you have that and a good supporting cast, then I feel like their ceiling is higher than the Bucks, because they barely beat the Bucks last year without James Harden.
I don't know which one won. I mean, I think there's something to say for, it's very hard to imagine me betting against a team that's already done it and knows how to do it. Also, I don't know what the ceiling is on Giannis. I really don't. Based on how he blew up in the finals last year and throughout the playoffs, I know that seems like, well, that's as good as he's going to get. We might be wrong. I mean, he might be even better, especially as a team player with another year with them. I don't know. And there is also this. James Harden in the playoffs, personally entertaining for me, nightmarish for anyone who's following his team.
Yes. No, James Harden ritualistically winds up soiling beds. That's his playoff history. It's pretty objectively true. And yeah, I mean, look, he was hurt at the end of the postseason run last year, so I give him a pass on that. And actually, relative expectation, he was fine. But what Spencer just brought up there about Giannis is, I think, really funny about the NBA, because while basically every star in the NBA is embarrassing themselves in one way or another, getting themselves into some sort of meme-driven controversy one way or another, all Giannis does is become more adorably himself. It's unbelievable. It's like, oh, Kyrie Irving is vaccine averse, if not anti-vax or anti-vax, whatever his explanation indicated. Giannis is here to do PSAs about standing up in a public health crisis for your fellow man. Ben Simmons doesn't want to shoot and is getting kicked out of practice as opposed to paying someone to get punched in the face by him in a larger scandal that we proposed earlier. Would have been a far better idea. What does Giannis do? He's taken pull-up threes in the preseason. It's amazing. And he's just beloved by everybody. Like, that is part of the frustration if you're a Bucks fan. What else do you need from us?
That's fair. And Giannis, presumably there's some psychological boost that comes with winning a championship. Like, there is some confidence that comes with that could take him to another level. I feel like that's probably, if not just something I've made up in my mind, potentially something that is statistically accurate. If not, y'all can't look it up, so I'm going to say it's real. That's a thing that matters, and I think that this team could benefit from that. They're bringing back most of the stars. But the problem with all of this is, I guess the question is, do you think KD at this somewhat diminished state, I guess, is better than Giannis?
Yeah,
and that's if KD is better than Giannis, which it seemed like, I'd rather have KD in most moments.
Yes.
And KD's done it. All the stuff that we're talking about, Giannis and that team has won. Like, KD's won a championship. And then if his number 2 is James Harden, is that not like the bed soiling you're talking about for James Harden is not a James Harden as a number 2. It's James Harden trying to carry a team in Houston that was completely built around him and doesn't really have the support he needed to succeed.
Well, Spencer, this is like the secret of NBA analysis, right? Like, you could do all of this analysis, all this talking, all this watching of games, and then it comes down to looking at the best 3 guys on a given team and being like, which guys do I want more? And you go, Kevin Durant, Giannis, okay, maybe that's a toss-up. Then James Harden, Chris Middleton, and you're like, okay, this is over. Like, we just get the memes now. Yeah. That's how NBA analysis really works, to be honest with you.
There's also this. The season's going to have a different wear and tear than last season, because last season was intense. Last season was, by all accounts, a serious load and heavy on fatigue for the players. It's going to be different. Like, if people say the Bucks lucked out into a title, I don't know. Teams always luck out when it comes to injury. There's always some sort of context for every single champion that isn't like the Bulls, right? Like, that isn't like the dynastic Bulls. Everyone else, there's something that broke their way.
Yeah, something that they benefited from or the opposite. And nobody wants to hear those excuses in the end. All we do is throw logs under the fire to tell you that, in fact, my favorite player, my dad, in fact, can beat up your dad. That's the other big part of NBA analysis.
Who do you want to win? I got, out of both of you, who do you want to win the championship? And Pablo, I'm assuming you're not going to say the 76ers.
Well, you're saying if I don't pay $50,000 to have that scenario unfold specifically.
Who do you want?
Yeah, I mean, the Brooklyn Nets, I'm in favor of simply for this reason. I can go to those games pretty easily, and that's something that does excite me.
You're so selfish. Spencer.
As a volume shooter with a beard whose highs are very high and whose lows are very low, I do want to see James Harden with the ring.
I think I'm on board with. I mean, I love the idea of LeBron getting one closer to Jordan. Honestly, that's got me leaning in that direction. But James Harden on a championship celebration tour. Can we get James Harden NBA Finals MVP, please? Let's make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he would go on like a road trip of the great strip clubs in America. So we should all on that level.
I mean, that's not much of a road trip. That is a similar trip to like the Civil Rights Tour. Like, it is in the same area. Like, you're driving around the same couple of cities. You are not making it up north. You're not making it out west. You might get as far as Houston, but that about it. What's next?
Allegedly.
No clue what you're talking about.
It's allegedly about it.
Yeah.
Up next. Do you think the Warriors can contend this year?
So this is where I admit that sometimes I make picks in the NBA or in all sports just because they're fun to root for and fun to watch. Like, I don't think the Warriors, who were a top 5 defensive team last year and are now trying to be the exact opposite this year, I don't believe they actually have the 4th best title odds in reality, as much as Caesars Sportsbook would suggest that they do. I believe that 4th best title odds number is because a lot of people like me are just rooting for the Warriors to be good again because it reminds us of a more innocent time. The mid-2010s, Steph Curry raining threes. what a better time in my life than whatever is going on right now in 2021.
No, they're not contenders.
Yeah, no, but I get it though. I get it, right? Like Fox, I get why people do this because Oakland, like the city as a whole and the area, produces teams that you irrationally love and can use a phrase to describe. Like they're the best branded teams because did you want to see the subtle pitching of Dave Stewart? Did you want to see the great defense of Carney Lansford for the Oakland A's? No, you did not. You wanted dingers. You wanted the Bash Brothers. You wanted some smash, right? Did you want to see right? Yes. Did you want to see like, you know, the Oakland Raiders innovating football and like John Madden's like subtle coaching? No, man, you want to see Kenny Stabler rock. And like what what the Warriors did, it's like Splash Brothers. You can't get it out of your head, even if it doesn't make sense that they're not going to be, or if it makes sense that they're not going to be contenders because it's Steph and then Draymond Green, right? But in your head, all you're thinking is Splash Brothers. Splash Brothers.
I mean, like, I guess
I love it.
Based on the idea that every season, every champion has some caveat, like there would have to be some injuries or something to change. But the team as it's currently constructed, and we don't know what type of clay we're getting back. Like I find it hard to believe that they're going to be. I think they'll but I think they'll make the playoffs. But getting past Denver, like we haven't even gotten to the Lakers, so I just don't see them being real contenders with that roster the way it is, unless some young players take some real big. I guess they don't really have.
I mean, look, James Wiseman, they took number 2 overall, Dominique, last year. He has been a disaster. So that's the young player that they were counting on. He did. Yeah,
and Wiggins still seems young to me, but he's not actually young. There was no leap coming from Wiggins.
Wiggins is younger than you think he is, but also older than you think he is at the same time. Moses Moody, who you may remember from the time Kendrick Perkins tried to pronounce the name Moses Moody.
I do remember that.
That guy was drafted by them. He's promising. Jonathan Kuminga, another dude that they drafted this year, also promising. But it's about Steph. It's about Steph Curry and how he makes all of us feel. And no, it is not likely that you or I or anybody else can actually see ourselves in Steph Curry in a real way. There's this whole thing of like, he's beloved because he's relatable. It's like, no, he's the son of one of the greatest shooters of all time and is a genetic freak with the greatest like neurophysiological control of his body that we've ever seen. But he is somebody that we all do intuitively. Like, remember how
he's also like 6'3", and he's not actually
your
normal
in
person.
Context, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember how Mickey? Actually, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Mickey Mouse originally, you may be familiar with Mickey Mouse from the time he owned the company we worked for. Mickey Mouse originally was more like a rat. It was more like a mouse, like an actual rodent. And then the brilliant people in Disney's like department of brilliant marketing people, they decided we're going to rebrand this mouse as a thing with big round eyes and cheeks, and it's gonna look more like a human baby.
Where's the tangent? There he is.
There we go. Thank you.
Evolutionarily, we are led to have more sympathy for those features. I believe that Steph Curry has those features.
Okay, we're getting there.
We all think that we are somehow Steph Curry, but we're not.
Because he looks like a mouse? What? So as someone
like an adult, handsome baby
who twice a week walks to work in New York City at 5:30 in the morning, I'm very, very familiar with what mice and rats really look like. And they don't look like Steph Curry or Mickey. They are disgusting little vermin who, mind you, you got to show them who's boss. So I respect them. Because between the hours
of
showing like
them who's boss mean?
No, I mean, so like I think people are afraid of them and they take advantage of that. So I'm walking down the street and sometimes people get a little scared. I'm not going to name any names. Maybe I've walked in New York City with somebody who's on this panel right now who ran when they saw a mouse and then the mice thought they could take our wallets, but not me. I wouldn't let it happen to me because this morning when I was walking, the mice, they start running around and I get a little shocked, but you know what? Just stomped right through there and they got scared because I showed them who's boss. Just a lesson to anyone who may ever be in New York City, Pablo, that you don't let the mice show you who's boss.
Spencer, do you have experience with extermination? Because I do. And I just know too much, which informs my fear as well as my ability to murder them.
No, you can't show me anything. I think what he's saying is that Mickey can hit from the logo. That's what he's saying.
That's right.
We'll stay with the tangent on this one, because before Mickey Mouse, were mice considered like attractive or cute? Like, because like Mickey Mouse is early cartoon, and why wouldn't they choose something else, like a cub or a bear? Oh, you got this, Spencer? You got this one?
Yeah, no, thank you for the rock. I'm about to shoot. This is why, and it's because America was so dirty back then that mice were like basically relatable, like all over the place, right? It was just impossible, right? And that's why they chose Mickey Mouse, because it was taking
everybody
something
had a mouse.
It's just, they're just all over the place, right? If you see, like, if you are in a contemporary American situation right now and you're like, ooh, a rat is in my house, a primeval panic spreads throughout your system. But like back in the 20s, it was like, oh, hello, friend. Yes, you've gotten into my grain once again, right? That's very much what we're talking about here. So I think they took something that was that familiar and then flipped it and made it something appealing and marketable.
Didn't mice like cause like lots of like very vicious diseases and plagues? And like, I would assume that
whomst among us, Dominique, hasn't.
That's fair. That's
really?
fair.
That's the high horse we're on right now.
I'm sorry. I'll climb down.
Let's not be speciesist here. Right?
Yeah, we are no different. We are no different than those dirty rodents. And Spencer, I appreciate you saying back in the 20s, America was dirty.
Yeah, hey, listen, the past stunk, right? That's always my thing. When somebody's like, nostalgia, I'm like, the past was terrible. And there's a long streak of evidence.
There was like a part of human history where people didn't drink like water.
Yeah.
And they had to drink like, beer, but not for fun, just because beer would like hold and keep longer. And so everyone was drunk and miserable, which
is that possible?
Quite relatable.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. It's possible.
It's possible to be drunk and miserable? I'm confused. That doesn't make sense. So, Pablo, I don't care what Alabaster wants. So you're telling me that water wouldn't keep, but beer would?
It wasn't clean.
Yeah.
The water wasn't clean enough to drink. Spencer knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, this is the reason that the Constitutional Convention had such a huge liquor tab. They were in Philly in the summer, and the water really couldn't be trusted. And also, if you got one of these dehydrating diseases, if you got dysentery or diarrhea, no way to hydrate other than that, right?
You know what I want to do? I want Spencer to come to New York and to wear overalls with no shirt on underneath, no shoes, a straw hat, and to sit at a table and just let these fancy New Yorkers walk by, and then you stop them and then drop a bunch of knowledge on them, breaking whatever preconceived notions they have about silly hillbillies. Like, this would just be fun for me. We can record it and put it on the interwebs, where Spencer challenges people to like trivia while sitting there looking like our Northeastern elitist privilege believes that he's not that smart because he has a beard.
You want Spencer to be like the socio-political like Uncle Drew? That's
yes.
what you want?
Yeah,
like, you thought that I couldn't play basketball,
but
guess what?
See, Pablo, this is my problem with you. Socio-political? No. He is the bearded white Uncle Drew. He's not socio-political Uncle Drew. He's bearded white Uncle Drew. You're overcomplicating things. Nobody's impressed by your smoke and mirrors. Using fancy words to say simple things. You're not fooling us, nerd.
God, your
nerd
shirt is offensive to me. All right, Alabaster, what do you got?
Okay, we got a couple bonus topics from fans on the internet.
Oh boy.
I know.
The first one comes from Long Live the Queen, who said Dominique's shirt looks like a composition notebook.
It does. It does.
That's a classic pattern, though.
And there is plenty of quality inside this notebook too. Queen, you want to find out? All types of stories up in here.
The margins are real wide.
I don't know what that means, but I like it.
No.
Our next one comes from Prospects on YouTube, who says, the dude on the bottom left looks like a moonshiner.
Like? Please, sir.
No, I think it's the clear frames. That's what takes you out of moonshine territory. You got the clear frames, and they were like, oh, no.
There we go.
Moonshiner.
There it
is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Call the prohibition police.
Yo, have you guys had? I mean, Spencer, I assume you've actually had moonshine. Dominique, have you ever had moonshine before?
Hell no. Why would I have moonshine? They got stuff that's been through the Food and Drug Administration. Why'd I need to make my own? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know how you test it? You light it on fire, and if it burns blue, it's clean. But if it burns orange or anything else, that's indicative of toxins, and you don't really want to drink it because you might go blind. I had it served to me by a really high-ranking member of the West Virginia state government at a West Virginia tailgate. I will not name them, but they were way up there.
Oh, goodness. Is that a cat?
Yeah, that is a cat, yes.
What's his or her name?
Oh, what's your cat's name?
This is Joe. Joe is like wandering around the office here.
I like Joe. All right, final topic.
Shout out to Joe.
All right, our final
Appreciate the
topic.
moonshine
I think we have found Pablo's burner account, and this is a tweet from Exotic Smugs, and it says, "This is completely unfair. The 76ers should be the ones suspended. They've been unfair to Ben for this whole process."
Thank you. Thank you.
Suspend the whole team.
Suspend the team. Suspend the whole damn team. Suspend the sport. Suspend the NBA season. No one deserves to play basketball if Ben Simmons cannot stage a protest of purely peaceful means. Just because why? Doc Rivers is an authoritarian? Why? Why are we suddenly in favor of authoritarianism, guys?
This is the prime minister. Politics. This is the prime minister of Australia. This is the prime minister of Australia's burner account.
He just wants the man to do his job. That's it.
Yeah.
We pay you a couple bucks to practice. Just go ahead and do that. That's all.
I just like how we've come around to exhorting someone to do their job on a show in which I believe we talked more about water purity in pre-1776 America than we did in actual sports.
And Mickey can hit from the logo. I'm just saying, respect it. Don't give him room. You got to pick him up at half court.
I have never been more sad about this countdown, and I feel like Alabaster is so happy about this countdown.
Oh, the producer's so happy about this.
The countdown, he's taking a little bit, too much pleasure in this.
Oh, all right. One more time at it. Skydive, bungee jump, or swim with sharks?
Skydiving. Got backups. I'm good.
If tandem.
I'm going with the sharks, baby. Send me in there with them sharks.
I need to be little spoon. I need a little spoon, big spoon dynamic as I go through the lower.
I don't like getting wet.
I feel like the sharks wouldn't mess with me. I feel like they wouldn't mess with me. They would leave me alone.
Are you saying a shark would respect you? That they understand the concept of respect?
I'm stomping around in the water. Let them know who's boss. They might see Pablo and be like, it looks like a mark, but they gonna see me and be like, I don't want that trouble. That's problems I don't need right there. Those are problems I don't need nor want. Look at him snacking on Pablo. Yum, 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 yum. Delicious.
That is how I feel, honestly. That's how I feel today.
Oh, man.
How much that shirt cost, Dominique? Like,
I don't know, like,
the line?
I don't know, like $80? I don't know. It's not that expensive. I'm not.
Yeah, I would have taken the under on that.
I thought you would assume that it was fancy. I'm insulted. You hurt my feelings. You know I'm in New York, right? I'll come to your front doorstep